Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the first birthday river coloring right here. As you see right here is for first birthday river. Is that you have right here is talking about that your synonym so far is for the word for time for time travel is like for time clock, and of course it could be is like related to is that for a company or business, and so far as talking about trains. And trains, or it could be automobiles, or it could be planes, you say. But I chose this idea from a photo that I had that was taken nearly those few years ago for me on my first birthday. But I remember whenever I was younger that of course my parents and then of course that did some it's like research a little bit about it too, but about the type of machines that they had back then. And I'm not really talking about you say like some type of a device like maybe a time machine, or a cotton machine or anything like that, or some say is that something that where you can change something. It's like more likely that a lot of people probably say that if anything there's such thing as what is called as a water filter, a water purifier, a water filter, something that that cleans the water. That a lot of us would probably say that our water is not clean enough, and then that is to think about is like a solution that purifies the water. But let's just say you go ahead and pick a river right here as an example. But I remember that in my hometown that there was in Missouri that it's like out there in St. Charles, that they would out there St. Charles riverfront, that they would have like a river, and then of course they would have like festivals and stuff like that. But I remember that old railroad that they had out there, and then of course they also had barges, and then I think Casino Queens. If I remember, they had a few casinos out there that ran along the river as well, and of course that. Didn't really go too many to the casinos, which I would probably say that a lot of times that with any type of river boats that they would have is like if they were casinos, or if they were like what you call the lumber delivery, you say is for companies like that. But so far as for first birthday, which I went ahead and picked this title, basically is like the stuff that I remember from whenever I was of course a baby, from when I was younger. That of course that I was into bridges, and then of course in the trains, and of course about the things that happened at the old house where I used to live at, and then along with the 2 or 3 other places I used to live at, that I remember seeing about the planes and stuff like that, seeing airplanes and hot air balloons and blimps, those type of sky travelers. But if we could maybe think about a time, like a travel device that maybe we can make, and such as would you say is that maybe is get some ideas for what we want to think of, and of course that you could probably say that that can't be done, it's impossible. But maybe one way we can think about it is maybe if we write down or think of something in the top of your mind. And of course I remember whenever I was in the second, third grade, it is that they give you lines like this, where you would write down a letter such as G. It's like G for good. It's like good idea. Like B, or for bad idea. It's like whatever grade they would give you. And one thing I was always wondering about is between the grades, that like B, what B stand for, and of course what C stand for, and along with D, of course I know F stand for fail. But if there was any type of a letter, such as that, if there was a letter K, or a letter J, K that I guess would stand for kind but not respectful, and then J would stand for like gibber on the job. You used to say is you're gibbering, jumping around and not really talking about, explaining about this and that. But type of grade I guess I would probably get is basically talking about the definition so far as river. That most of us would probably say that with the river, that more likely that it's like a stream of water, say, that runs, and which I would think some of them would like connect to the ocean. You say the different lakes and stuff like that, when rivers would connect to the ocean. But basically, is talk about ideas for like a little time travel device that you can maybe think about. And of course, one of them I know is a photograph. A photograph or a video, or it could be a wedding ring, whatever it is. Or it could be a pen. If you were to look around your house and maybe find some old treasure items, that more likely that you would find something. But basically, as you have right here, is that you have like you get an idea for like a photograph, or it could be you say is a coin, or you say a ring, an engagement ring, as you say an old jewelry item, maybe an earring. You got the earring right here, but basically is that those type of items, which you say is could be, it's like it could represent, is like for so far as is for the meaning for the word, is like for for the first birthday, and so far as time travel wise, and those are just kind of like ideas, and those ideas you can maybe think about is like what do you want to do with the ring? If you want to sell it, keep it, give away, keep it in your treasure box. But of course, with first birthday, is to know that the ideas I think of right here is like talking about is like if you want to rewind time, or if you want to rewind that the clock, you say, or if you want to speed up the clock. But what I have right here is a symbol right here is between daylight and nighttime. And a lot of times I remember whenever you would hear a train, I heard a train a couple of times, at places where I used to live, and then and whenever I hear a train, a lot of times they probably say that, well, it's 5 o'clock. Well, what was you wanting to do at 5? Well, if you have to be somewhere, or if it's 7 o'clock, or if it's 3 o'clock. I remember that a few of the clocks, I remember that I seen them and heard them before. That some of them would do like a tune. It's like every time that it would turn like 3 o'clock, it would have a cuckoo that would come out like a cuckoo bird, like cuckoo, cuckoo. But you got the cuckoo, the bird right there, and then of course that you can maybe have one that have one that do that maybe the sound of, you say, is like a loopy grasshopper or something like that. You got the kind that would make different sounds, you say, and then maybe a kind. See here, use brown, by the way. It's like you say this matches with my hair color. But you got right here, if you're one that gives you like the stream of rain. It could be stream of rain, and then along with the water stream. But basically about what makes the river flow is basically by time. By time is what makes the river flow. And you can maybe think about it is that so far as first birthday is to know about is the fact about whenever it was built, and then of course any ideas that come to your mind is to kind of work them as so far as studying about how bridges work, about how they cross the river and stuff. But I remember right here is talk about is the railroad, and the railroad track that would run by which during that time where in the house where I was living, of course that it was only in commission for about 2 years until it decided to go out. But there was a train over at the town where I grew up at, also where that I remember I was with my parents a lot of times, that I would hear the train go by, and a lot of times you hear a train go by, a lot of times it kind of reminds you of what time it was during the day. But and then you got right here is for the clock right here. It's know that it's like if you were to use time, then more likely it's a lot of people probably say that, well, whenever they're at